Production notes, because I love talking about behind the scenes dreams and production memes. Now, I want to give a shout out to all the 900 subscribers to this channel because we are getting closer to the 1,000 sub count, which is really exciting. When I get to that 1,000 sub count, first off, I start getting paid something, maybe? I don't know. Come on, YouTube, don't screw me around. But more importantly, I can start using the community tab, which is going to be really important when I find myself in some country town in the middle of bumfuck nowhere with a population of about, now that I think about it, 15 people, give or take. With the community tab, if I happen to be there for a few days, I can finally let you know that I won't be making any videos because I'm literally hundreds of kilometers away from 21st century technology. So that's really exciting. Can't wait to get to that 1,000 sub count. In the meantime though, let's talk about the new editing process that I've been doing for the past couple of weeks now for most, but not all of my recent videos. So what has happened is I am now using two cameras as part of my shoots. I'm using this camera, which is of course my EOS RP, and that camera, which is of course my phone, which is a Samsung S9. So my EOS RP, I may eventually do a review on that camera. I don't know, might turn into a photography channel for about 10 minutes when I review this camera. We'll see. But when it comes to my phone, certainly not the best phone camera in the world, number one. And secondly, it doesn't compare to a full frame mirrorless camera. So one thing that my phone used to be able to do was do manual video recording. So that would prevent the camera from just needlessly increasing the exposure of the video without warning, like on a whim. There's no reason why it's increasing the exposure of the video just willy-nilly. But with the introduction of Android Pie, for some reason, Samsung decided to delete that function from the camera of the S9. So that's really pissing me off. Either way, at some point, if I actually get enough money, I might go and get myself another camera, and I am really interested in maybe getting myself a Blackmagic Pocket 6K because that camera seems really dope. And as opposed to the Blackmagic 4K, the 6K has an EF mount, so I can already use the lenses that are in my bag. Whereas the 4K, I'd have to get some other random thing. Then I'd also have to look into getting a monitor for these kinds of cameras because they don't have a swivel, etc, etc. There are things that I am thinking about, but I'll probably not do for the next half year. That's why there is a noticeable quality dip when I come from this camera to 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 this camera. And you can see what's happening on my camera screen because I have decided to put my phone behind my camera in a truly behind the scenes fashion. When it comes to most of the videos that I do, you know, non-production notes videos, I also get the luxury of a third screen to cut to, and that is my camera acting as a webcam in front of a screen recording, which makes things a lot easier to edit. For those who are wondering, the webcam is still there and I'm still using it for quick one-shot videos, walkthroughs, playthroughs. When a quest shows up, I'll probably be using that for the most part, and anything involving OBS's replay buffer. So highlight videos from HOTS, for example, those ones will of course still be using the webcam. Now, what I've noticed is producing these videos is actually a lot easier using two cameras. Now you may be thinking, wow, really? Surely the editing process alone should be a lot harder and a lot more time consuming. It is a little bit more time consuming, but real talk, it's not terribly difficult. And that's because in DaVinci Resolve and Premiere Pro, they actually have hilariously effective and super robust multicam sequencing capabilities. What I mean is I literally take this footage and that footage, select them together, and just right-click, create a multicam sequence. And Premiere Pro creates a frame-by-frame accurate multicam sequence. So if I'm waving my hands like this, I can cut from this camera to that camera to this camera to that camera to this camera to that camera, and it would be frame-by-frame perfect. Instead, the real difference is the recording process. Because back in the old days of about half a year ago, let's say, when I would do a video that had a start, middle, end section, all one shots, I had to make sure that I was still yammering on and on and on and on and on and not having some massive break to remember what I was actually talking about in the specific start, middle, or end section. Essentially, any long pause in the video would really ruin the shot, and some sections could be 5 minutes, 6 minutes long. So if I accidentally and ah a little bit too much, boom, that's 3 minutes of my life I'm never gonna get back. boom, that's 5 minutes of my life I'm never gonna get back. And if it was the Platinum Arrow video, boom, that's 10 minutes of my life I'm never gonna get back. And then I have to repeat everything I just said for the past 10 minutes, so that's super duper frustrating. It's also kind of why I say super duper a lot, actually. It's kind of become a habit. Nowadays, I can actually stop and recompose myself, remember what I'm trying to say, figure out my train of thought. I'm flobbering my sentences even in this video, but you wouldn't know unless I actually tell you. I'm always losing my train of thought. Even if I'm using a script, I'm still losing my train of thought. I have to go back to remembering what I'm trying to say. So the shooting of these videos becomes a lot easier when you can just cut from this camera to 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 this camera. And also the videos themselves have become a lot more consolidated when it comes to information being passed. For example, the Zagara video. The original shoot of the Zagara video was about 30 minutes long. That raw file is huge. It's sitting in my computer. It is a 30-minute video. The video that I put up on YouTube, i.e. the video that was rendered after I edited all this fluff out, was 11 minutes and 54 seconds, which means I basically took out almost 2/3 of the shoot, because 2/3 of it, that's how much there usually is. 2/3 of the shoot was just random fluff. For example, ums and ahs, long pauses, catching my breath, an entire section where I accidentally repeated myself, an entire section where I was simply completely and utterly wrong about something, and there were giant sections of that recording where I was just setting up the scenario so that I could demonstrate the next talent on the list. For example, how effective is corrosive saliva against Asmodan? We can't exactly test that against Asmodan when he still has waves of minions and a keep and a tower and some gates. What I wanted to do was see how effective corrosive saliva is against him in a pure, unadulterated, uninterrupted 1v1 mano a mano situation. What I've also noticed is that other videos covering the exact same topic tend to be about 15 minutes or 20 minutes long, so about twice as long as my video. They cover more or less the same amount of information, but what is also included is all of the ums and ahs, and sometimes even some live research. That's perfectly fine. Putting in live research as part of the video, I do that as well. It's just part of the gig. Maybe it's just something that you come up with. But sometimes I've actually deleted the live research because it ended up becoming too long, and I figured, you know what, screw it. I'll just say the answer and pretend like I already knew it. And another video would be the Titania is too fast video. I actually released that like yesterday. One of the things I could do with that video, because I am shooting it in this way, is that I could replace the background footage, i.e. the screen recording, with something else while I am talking to camera. So that means that I have several things that I could do in the background in order to make the video a lot more interesting. But I could kind of do that already with the start, middle, end style video, provided I was actually using my camera as the quote-unquote webcam of the video. So let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the editing style. I have received a little bit of feedback about the editing style from people who think that maybe cutting between this camera and that camera and this camera and that camera and this camera and that camera, that can be a little bit distracting. Fair enough, I could see where they're coming from, but at the same time, I would ask, what would they prefer? Would they prefer, say, the Philip DeFranco style of cutting each sentence up so that sometimes you could say your sentence with your head tilted this way and then cut immediately to the same camera with your head tilted this way, speaking the next sentence, or cut to the next sentence mid-action? I mean, like, I think that looks a little bit weird. Not hating on you, Philly D, you do what you do, but I mean, maybe you should invest in a second camera. Also, what do you think about the phone footage? Anyway, if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more Warframe and HOTS content, and do subscribe, because according to my YouTube analytics, about 90% of my viewership is not subscribed. So, come on, hit that subscribe button. Help me get past the 1,000 mark, and then help me get further past the 1,000 mark. Help me, unsubscribed viewer. You're my only hope. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.